Alright, we're back with the Odes Dominator 800. This is a 2013 version. Basically a Can-Am. They use the same motor parts, same motor. It's just like the knockoff of Can-Am. I bought this thing, unfortunately, for $3,000. I paid way too much for it. I probably should have done some research on it. But the seller said he didn't know what was wrong with it. He was driving, and all of a sudden it kind of lost power, and he couldn't get it to run very well. It would run, but kind of shut off once in a while. So I was thinking maybe it was the valves. I got there, the battery was out, and it wouldn't start up because the battery was so low on charge, so I couldn't hear what it sounded like. We got back home, we cranked it over, you could hear a terrible knocking sound, and it would start and sound horrible. So we tore down the engine and we found that the rod bearing right here was shot. So there's a live up and down play on that one. This one actually feels decent, but there is a little bit of up and down play. So I don't know if the guy ran it low on oil or what the issue was there. But today's plan is going to be to tear out the engine, get it all torn down, and rebuild. We do have the rebuild kit over here. Bought it off of eBay. This thing came with whole new crank, rods, bearings, cylinders, pistons. So it's the whole top end kit. And this thing alone was about $420 bucks, 450, somewhere in that price range. So it wasn't too bad, but it definitely wasn't cheap. We also got a tool for the clutch. Where's that? Right here. So last video we ended off where we couldn't get the clutch off because it needed a special tool, and this is a puller for it. So hopefully we can pull off the clutch no problem with this thing. I believe this tool was, I think, $25 or $30. So we got that. We also have front brake pads for it. The front brake pads are junk. We've got oil filters. We've got wheel bearings. The left side wheel bearing is shot. And then the ignition switch is janky, so there's an ignition switch for it as well here. And that should be it. All the heads and everything look good on these, so all those are fine. The pistons and cylinders look fine, but we're gonna install new ones anyway. So this is what the old pistons look like. Those were perfectly fine, but if we're in there, we may as well do pistons and cylinders as well. So the plan is to get this whole thing rebuilt and started up by the end of the video. It's gonna be a big task, but let's see if we can do it. All right, I think what we're first gonna do is get this clutch off of here. Let's see if that puller works. This is just hand tight. No, that's on there. All right. Alright, there's a big bolt. Now let's see if this puller is going to work. So let's unwrap that and get that in there. Twist that in. I don't feel like it's going in. Huh. You serious right now? Doesn't look like that's working. That is awesome. It says that worked for an Odes Dominator. Apparently that does not work. So it looks like the threads are the same here. So I don't know why that's not working. I think maybe this is too long. Threads are the same size here. Huh. So I think what we're gonna do is take the engine out first and then work on that clutch, getting that thing off. Alright, there's a drive shaft right here for the rear, held on by 4 bolts. We got that off of there. It just retracts kind of back in. And then there's another one for the front right here. Same thing, 4 bolts. So we got both those off, and then there's an engine mount right here. Got that nut off of there. Looks like that was bent a little bit, so hopefully that doesn't cause problems. And then there's another engine mount down here we have to get off. I think that's it then. Let's go check the other side. Nothing looks like it's over there. Yeah, I think that was it. So once we get that one off right there, I think we can get this engine out. Alright, disconnect the gas line. Check out this gas that was in there. Hopefully there's still some in there. You guys can see it's really dark. It's hard to see, but that's really yellow. Looks like it was bad gas in there. Alright, we got all the wires out of here. Got the engine mount loose now, and the one out there, that bolt rounded off on this one, but I finally got it out. This thing is just a pain to get out. It's so heavy because the transmission's connected to it. So we're gonna try to maneuver this thing around and just see if we can pop it down. Maybe it'll drop through the frame and onto the ground. Then we can push the machine over it and take the engine out. I'm hoping that's how we can do it. Alright, so I've got my stand underneath there jacking it up, and we got to this point. So what I think I can do is just roll it kind of down the side of the UTV. Just kind of like take this and pull it this way. I'm hoping. Guess we'll see, right? Pretty level right there. Everything else out of the way. Here's the ground we gotta get off. Alright, so it looks like this wire was frayed, completely frayed off of there. So for these wires, you can see there's a blue and yellow wire that goes to the furthest to the right. There's a gray wire that goes to the bottom, and a tannish black one that goes to the top right here. So let's get those off of here. All these wires are off. Pretty heavy. Best spot to grab it. Alright, engine is out. Oh man. That was not easy. That was not easy getting that thing out. Alright, I guess let's start tearing into it. See what we find here. Jeez, that thing's big. Oh man, what a job. So if you see a UTV up for sale and it possibly has a rod knock, do not buy it. They're a pain to get out of the frame. Oh god. Do I regret buying this thing? But it needs to be done. We have to fix it. So that's the only choice we have. Alright, so looking at this clutch, here's the puller I bought online for it. As you can see, it does not work at all. Alright, so I contacted the company on eBay, and I think they sell the other tool I need. So I guess for earlier models, before 2013, they had a different clutch puller tool that's 14 millimeters, not 12 millimeters. So we ordered the 12 millimeter because it said it worked for up until 2013. But I guess it only works for under 2013. That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, that wasn't gonna work. So let's start tearing down the other side. Just check everything over and get as much as we can off this engine before we can get that tool. We'll have to order that up. This is the stator side. Looks like somebody was maybe in here before. Alright, will that come off of here now? Looks like it wants to. Oh geez, dripping a ton of oil. Tons of oil dripping from here. Try to get this cover off quick. Thought we drained the oil. Apparently not. It's a really strong magnet. There we go. Okay. So you've got the little starter gear right here. Stator looks pretty good. This gasket's junk. These gears off of here. It goes like that. It's a huge hex head bolt. Let's see if I've got one. That sucker's big. Looks like it might be a 12 millimeter, possibly. Bigger. 14. Yep. Not coming. Man, that sucker's on there. I think this puller is going to work here. One of my 5 I can try it from. Oh yeah, that one fits. That's lucky, that's the biggest one I had. Let's see if it'll work though. So this is reverse thread. I don't know, it might not be long enough. Crap. Might work. Try it. What's that? 7/8. Pop right off. That was awesome. There's the woodruff key. Oh, it's on there. Alright. Flywheel looks really good. No damage there. Oops. Alright, check the one-way bearing. So this gear, starter gear, goes one way. And yep, that looks good. This one-way bearing checks out. Let's see what we got going on. I don't know how you get that little piece off of here. Just slide it out, I guess. It seems like that's not a very good design. There's no way you just slide that piece out, is it? So there's that little piece. Goes right there. Guide looks good yet. Looks like that maybe was leaking at one point too. Lots of oil in there. Let's just get that out of here. Oil filter really doesn't look that bad. A whole lot though. I would expect a lot more. You can see a couple metallic flakes there. Nothing that crazy. Alright, let's check out this water pump next. good. That's just spinning on there. I don't think I should be doing that. That's just spinning in there. So maybe that's what failed there, the water pump. I wonder if the gears in there are chopped up. So that should be spinning with the engine. Maybe it is this way. So impeller looks good, no cracking around the impeller or anything like that. That all checks out. That is supposed to have a hole going through it for lubrication, and I can feel the hole is way over here. So that must have slipped out of place. I think that's what caused it to get hot. Yeah. See that? And if you look at this one's correct. So you can see my finger through it. This one you can't. So that oil passage is blocked on there. That's probably part of the reason that crank locked up, not getting sufficient oil. But that's about as far as we can get today without having the puller for the clutch, because we can get the clutch off, the starter off, and all that other stuff with the puller, and then we can split the case. So until we get the puller, I don't think we can go any further. Alright, so I took a break from this for a couple weeks and we're back at it, and I went through, I think I bought 3 different pullers for this thing, and I tried each one, and I ended up returning 2 of them and kept the one I modified that didn't work. So we're gonna have to come up with a different way to get this clutch off, because we can't move on from this build until we can get the clutch off. So clutches for these are like $600, I think, for the clutch kit. So I don't really want to break it. So we're gonna try to pry it off very carefully. Maybe try some heat. That did not work. Alright, so the pullers came in the mail. These are the 14mm by 1.5mm. Before we had the 12mm, which looks like this. And that didn't work either. So the 12mm didn't work. Let's try the 14mm. This is 14mm with a 1.5 thread. And she does not work. Does not thread in at all. So that's another wasted 30 bucks. Let's see if our other one works. So I bought this one from, it's like Stock USA. They're supposed to be really good. Doesn't thread in. So I ended up buying a bolt that was 13 by 1/2. And that one actually threads in, but it gets stripped out halfway through. So that's not correct either. So I'm like, let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, and I bought 2 other ones for 5 bolts that don't work. So I've spent probably 150 bucks on pullers, and then returned about $75 worth of pullers to eBay, and none of them work. So I am so stumped on this thing. The threads in there look good. They're not stripped out. It's just really confusing me. I don't know what to do. I just cannot get that clutch off. We got the other piece off, the one that goes over that, but I just cannot get the clutch off. I'm just gonna try to fish this off of here and just buy a new clutch if I have to, but I just cannot get it to budge at all. She will not move. So if anyone has any ideas what's going on, please let me know in the comments, because This has been like 3 weeks of me trying to buy bolts for this thing, and none of them work. All right, I tried for another hour about trying to get this thing off, pounding on it, pounding on the bolts. You can see I wrecked now all of these. See, it's just a little bit too big, I think that bolt is. I don't know, they're all wrecked now. So each one of these was 40, 50 bucks. Junk. These bolts were like 4 bucks each. Junk. That one's okay, but it's too short. This one was junk. Look at that, the tip. That's supposed to be the size. So either there's an aftermarket clutch on there that I don't know about, that I don't know what the puller is, or the threads are stripped in there, which they don't look like they are. So not too sure what's going on. They look good. I don't know, it's a mystery. It's very, very frustrating though. I cannot get that clutch off. And we've got the thing sitting over here. It's just getting rained on, getting worse and worse sitting here. And I can't do anything about it. We might have to buy a used bottom end. That's the only thing I can think of. Or rethread the clutch threads and try to use a different puller. I don't know. I'm kind of stumped on this one. Because if you can't get the clutch off, you can't rebuild the engine. So if somebody wants to sell me one or donate one to the channel so we can get this project fixed, that would be awesome. If you have a spare bottom end for an Odes 800 Dominator sitting around, let me know. But let's go check out our new tool we just picked up. Alright, so to press on the crank bearings for the Odes, it requires a press. So we got a 22-ton press here from Harbor Freight. I should have bought this a long time ago, but we might have to open it up and take it piece by piece here. Right, we've got all the parts laid out. Let's try to assemble this thing. Hopefully by the end of it, we have a working press. All right, so basically it's just 2 pieces. You connect the feet down here with a couple bolts. You place this over the rails. You place this one on top of the rails with 4 bolts. So all in all, I think it's 4 bolts up here, 12 down here. So it's really not that bad. And there's a couple pins right here holding that up. Alright, she's pretty solid right now. They recommend bolting it to the floor, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, so we're attaching the jack here. Kind of seems weird that there's only 2 Allens holding it in place. That's what it calls for. One right there and one on the other side. Alright, this is pretty much complete. So we'll give it a little test, see if she works. Got a case half here with a bearing in there. You can see the bearing right there isn't pressed out or anything. So typically I pound these out with a hammer, but today we're gonna try the press. Just have a socket here that should be strong enough. Put that in there and crank down. See what happens. See how much force it takes to get this bearing out. Shouldn't take a whole lot. Seems like it's working. Should drop in my hand. There we go. That literally took 0 force. Way easier than using a hammer here. So that is a main bearing, main crank bearing for an RM125. You guys will see that bike in an upcoming video, but that was a good test to prepare for the Odes. Benny, come on.
Well, Benny, it looks like we failed on this one.
We first paid too much for it. We paid $3,000 for it, and now it's worth probably nothing. So, yeah, that's a big bummer. Oh, that was definitely a mistake buying that. Benny's not too happy about it either. He does not like losing. What do you think, Vin? You are not happy, are you? So, I'm not sure what we're going to do with this thing yet. Stay tuned for next video. And if anyone has suggestions, let me know. Because it's just sitting here rotting away. And I don't know what to do. But I guess you live, you learn. We won't be doing that again. So, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video. And until next time, we are out.